Hi, my name is Jennifer Abigail Moreno, and I am the artist of Nora del Sur. I'm so grateful that New Spring has chosen my art piece to audition in the auction. It makes me very happy to know that I was selected for my wonderful piece of Nora del Sur. Now, let me explain to you how I created it and what was the meaning of it. The the first thing I will start talking about is the tools. Tools. I use a pencil, cutter knife, and a Elmer's glue alongside with oil pastels and cardboard and also some acrylic black paint because I use that specifically when I created the apron of my mom, and just because it was faster to, since it's just a black apron, it didn't have that much details. Now, the tools I used, I already explained, and now how I use them. I use the pencil cutter knife to specifically cut small things like her eyes, her nose, and her mouth, along with the eyebrows, because, well, if you try using the school scissors mm, or just other scissors, it's not very easy because the scissors are very big and cardboard. It depends on which cardboard you're using, since there's many types of cardboard. There's thick cardboard, there's thin cardboard, and I use many types. Like thin could come from a box of juice boxes, like Capri Suns or cardboard, or Kool-Aid from a box of cardboard, which they're very thin types. There's also very thick cardboard, like from boxes or any type of box, really. They're very thick and very strong, but they're very hard to cut through, and it's not very easy when you're using a pencil cutter knife, so you use scissors instead. Though, if you want to make it easier, you would first outline with a pencil what you want, what shape you want first. Afterwards, you use the pencil cutter knife, or specifically an X-Acto. Uh, Personally, I say grab the tough types, because the one that I used was the blade was nice. It was new and nice, except it's a pencil cutter knife and it's a bit weak because, well, it doesn't stay that strong. Sometimes it becomes loose, and I had many issues with that, and just a few accidents, not big ones really. But that's not the point. The point was I used that, and after outlining, I cut it with the pencil cutter, and afterwards I used the scissors to cut out the rest, and that's how I got the shapes. Though, of course, I didn't have to do that when it was for thin cardboard because it was very easy to cut through. You just have to put some paper or some cardboard under there so you don't end up cutting your own table or whatever you're working on that piece. After that, I decided to glue them, on top of my mom's face, the eyes, nose, and mouth and eyebrows, and the neck, the shirt, the apron, the legs, the sandals, all of that to create it. Though, of course, I had some issues alongside there, like, for example, the legs. The legs were not easy to do because I had a hard time deciding how it was going to come out, because from the original sketch, I had to end up redrawing feet, specifically my mom's sandals, because in the original picture of it that I took myself, her feet were cut off on the picture. So when I was drawing the sketch, I decided that I didn't want that part cut out, and I decided to put more in there. So I actually added more content. But at the same time, sometimes some things didn't come out very well, and I had to get it done at some point. So some things were rushed, but not that very much. I actually took my time very seriously to make sure everything came out as nice as possible. Now, after cutting down and making sure I glued it and made sure that it was there, nice and neat, and specifically on the balance side of it and the form, it was frankly easy. I just took some time because, well, I'm not very fast with it, but I can get my work done. I can assure you I can get my work done. From there, after creating all the pieces, her face, her neck, her shirt, um, her shoulders and her arms. The arms, that's a whole different story. I did not get it the way I wanted it, but that does not mean that the way it came out it was not something I didn't like. The way that it came out, it actually I loved the way it came out because it shows how hard she was working that day while she was creating spaghetti for us, which I gotta admit that was some good spaghetti. Now back to the topic. After that, I had the background was she was in the kitchen, so of course I made the kitchen afterwards. It's a 2D, 3D project because some stuff is popping out and some of it is actually more 2D than 3D because you can easily hang it in a portrait or in a wall and it would look nice. Of course, when you come closer to it, it actually is popping out a little bit, which is nice because I intended it to be 3D, not 2D, 3D, but you know still I just wanted the picture to pop out, so it still came out the way I wanted it. It is cardboard relief after all. So after that, I made the kitchen, which is I mostly made it out from my point of view. It's the right, but I'm assuming for other people's point of view it would be left. Well, it would be left, but if it was backwards, but my point of view was right, so most of it came from the right. The left was the dishwasher, and the right was the stove part of view. And from there, I just made the ingredients that she was using to create the food that she was making, and from there, I'm after gluing everything and making sure that it stick to the piece of cardboard. It came to the coloring part, which I use oil pastels mostly because it just seemed a lot easier to use. And I did not choose paint because paint is actually a lot harder to use, especially how easily it dries up and how hard it is to specifically go in there without messing up. So I just chose oil pastels instead because they're like crayons and I prefer that more than paint itself. But I did use acrylic black paint just for the apron and the sandals, just because it was just a basic color and I can easily put it in there quickly and it was not hard to do. It was very simple. The meaning of this art piece is that I adore my mother very much. I am grateful of her and how she's helped me through life. She's been taking care of me for many years. She never abandoned me. And I'm so grateful that I have a mother like her. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the art piece is a reminder of how much she's done for me and how hard she's been working her life. And she's the best mother I could ever have. And this is a way to say, I love you, Mom. And here is a piece of art for you and for everyone. Thank you for seeing this video and enjoying it. And thank you for accepting my piece.